World. Hi, how are you? I am doing well. This is Heather Alexandra for Kotaku.com, a video game website about video games. I'm joined in the booth by
Paul Tamayo.
Paul Tamayo, you're behind the wheel of the controller today.
That's right. I'm behind the wheels of steel.
The wheel of the controller, a phrase that when you think about it for 2 seconds, it doesn't make sense. The controller is not a wheel.
It's not a wheel at all. It's two analog sticks.
Far Cry New Dawn.
Far Cry New Dawn. This is coming out on Friday?
Friday, I believe.
Ooh.
My review should be running tomorrow for it, but we are allowed to show some of the gameplay and other things today. This is an earlier save of yours.
Yeah, so I backed up a save on a USB stick, and then I'm a lot farther than where I am
so
here.
So we're a little beyond the opening of the game. For those of you who are kind of just want a little rundown of what like the core conceit of the structure of this game is, it's set maybe around 15 to 20 years after Far Cry 5, a game which, spoiler alert, ended with nuclear.
Dun dun dun.
Nuclear.
Nuclear.
Ended with nuclear Armageddon.
There you go.
And now you are back in Hope County, the fictional area of Montana that Far Cry 5 took place in. And now you are in a very verdant, very colorful, kind of almost like Annihilation inspired, like in the aesthetic, post-apocalypse.
Yeah, and the excuse for a lot of the different colors, especially on the animals you'll find, is like nuclear war. It did some things with animals and stuff. So
you are called, you come into Hope County, so you're not playing as the same character from Far Cry 5. You're not that sheriff, that generic person. You are somebody who works with this fellow named Rush, and then he's kind of like a problem solver. And there are these folks in Hope County called the Highwaymen. They're led by these two twins, Mickey and Lou. And you come in to try and help them, but then the twins they totally scoop-a-doop and flip the situation on you, and you have to kind of build up this home community called Prosperity and try and deal with the Highwaymen and things like that. It's very traditional kind of post-apocalyptic stuff. Somebody asked, did the whole planet get bombed, or is it just this section? Man, everybody got blown the fuck up.
Yeah, I think everybody got blowed up.
Yeah, it is super fucked up. And
So when I open up the map here, like Heather was just saying, I just came from Prosperity, which is like sort of your home base.
Kind of like your home base. You slowly upgrade it throughout the game. You can see here. You get folks that you can recruit to your base to upgrade certain facilities and things like that. Kind of very basic base building.
Yeah, and then the more you sort of recruit folks, and the more ethanol you get, which is sort of like the main currency you use to...
kind of like your generic progression resource.
Yeah, so you use those, and then you can see their little progression tree of like rank 2 weapons. And then when I get the next level, I can get more weapons.
Right.
Or higher level weapons. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so this game has something which I have mixed feelings about, and I'm sure people who are kind of not sold on this game might have mixed feelings about, and it's something that I think Ubisoft is calling like light RPG mechanics, by which there's an ascending tier of rarity for weapons and also an ascending tier of rarity and difficulty for enemies. It doesn't mean you're going to run into like a level 14 deer that beats the shit out of you, but it does mean that certain areas of the game will have like tier 3 characters who just have more armor or something. It doesn't affect things too much, but every now and then, you'll be like, fuck, I need to upgrade my weapons or whatever.
Yeah, you never have to worry about like, oh, I'm level, it's not like Assassin's Creed where you're like, I'm level 30, I need to be level 35 for this mission. It's more like Heather was saying, so the weapons I'm carrying right now are level 2
You see some of them are level 2, so that really nice little lever action that you got there, which is like made partially with like soda cans and like other things.
Oh, someone just got popped.
Is kind of there, and you have more ascending tiers of rarity for things as well. But yeah, for this one, I was gonna say around this level, it's gonna take you like 2 shots or so.
Yeah.
Or some headshots. Well, the visual aesthetic of this game is very. It's trying to set itself apart from Far Cry 5 insofar as Far Cry 5 leans into a lot of like American pastoralism. It's very amber waves of grain, this land is your landy in certain moments. And then in this case, it kind of goes in an opposite direction, which is, like I said, reminds me a lot of Annihilation, specifically the film version, not necessarily the book. More colorful, has a lot more inspirations coming, not from like broad America, this land is your land type stuff, but it pulls a lot more from, so for instance, the Highwaymen and their aesthetic and their music, which you won't be able to hear here because we're playing in a streaming mode.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of trap music and things like that. It's
yeah, you might still be able to hear like
maybe
once the
maybe like a couple generic things.
trap beats.
But this is much
which
more
is an
colorful,
interesting
much
choice.
more kind of lively game, and it's actually one of the things I like about this game a lot. I did not like Far Cry 5. I will say that there are some times where I am frustrated with Far Cry New Dawn, but there are things happening in this game or decisions in this game that I actually think are pretty good decisions. And one of them was just to lean into a very kind of lush and really good looking.
So someone in the chat is asking if there's a
area.
choice whether or not you can create your character, and
Yeah.
you do to an extent have well at the very top of the game you do have a choice to pick who you want, like what.
It's kind of very simple. It's just like,
Yeah,
hey, pick do you want to be a guy or a gal?
Yeah, and then from there on, it gives you more
Start
flexibility.
to customize.
You can even give them like
You can put beards on
emperor
anybody.
mustache.
It's very very progressive.
My save right now, I have her in some like weird tech gear. I have her
Yeah,
looking
you
like
can
a
start to
weird-
get a lot of other stuff. One thing you'll notice, and I want to talk about it just because it's something that I think people will probably have some anxieties about, is that you'll see that you can purchase some of this with Far Cry coins, which is it's their in-game currency. Thankfully, you're able to find those coins in-game by doing
treasure hunts.
treasure hunts, which are this game's version of Far Cry 5's prepper stashes, which were these sorts of exploration-based puzzles, sometimes combat-based or platforming, but to sort of find old scavenged areas and things like that.
God. Oh God!
That's
What is happening?
That's just a bore. And so you can get that currency in-game. There's some things I don't like about how this game deploys its microtransactions insofar as you can actually buy like crafting materials.
Yeah.
Before anybody's like starts to freak the fuck out, because like I understand like that's uncomfortable and bad. You do not need to get them. I got through this game in the course of like, I want to say 10 to 14 hours, and I didn't buy a single fucking thing.
Yeah, I haven't purchased anything
Like,
yet.
it's like we have this situation. I'm always careful with this situation. This isn't to forgive microtransactions. I think
course.
microtransactions are fucking bullshit. But we had like that whole situation with Assassin's Creed with
Right.
experience boosters, and people were really worried. And I don't want people to worry here when I say like, oh, you can buy crafting mats. Because like really, like if you're just exploring and scavenging, like you can mostly
Get by.
get by with everything you need. You won't progress as fast as some rich asshole who bought some weird Far Cry pack of nonsense.
Shit. Turkeys are back.
But you should be mostly be fine.
Leave the turkey alone, girl.
Is Carmina attacking the
Oh,
turkey? Yo, I mean, don't worry. She's got it.
All right.
This is Carmina Rye, for the record. She's the daughter of Nick Rye from Far Cry 5. This game is set around, I want to say like 15 or 18, 15 to 18. Somebody in chat is saying, oh, 17 years
17.
later. So it's very much right after the apocalypse, except this area in particular of the world is inexplicably wonderful and kind of like a Garden of Eden.
Look
How's
at
that work out?
Look at them solar flares.
There you
and
go.
all
You
that.
got the shimmer from Annihilation again.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Orange. But yeah, so if you so I'm showing off one thing that I actually posted a video up on our YouTube
So
and our site.
you want to
about.
go take out an outpost.
I'm gonna do an outpost. So outposts are like kind of the fun little.
You don't have a bow and arrow yet.
I don't, but I usually use this. This is like my bow
I mean,
and
it's
arrow.
still pretty good.
Yeah, this is my
Bow and arrow is where it's at.
bow and arrow's dope. But I have like funny enough, I haven't gotten it yet in this game. I stick to this gun. I like it a lot.
It's so funny that you have this weapon, because for a while I was playing, this was also one of my go-to weapons for, I want to say, a good portion of like the first third of the game. It's not quite a sniper rifle, but you can still do a lot of good stuff with it.
Fun here. It's so funny because I've been playing so much Apex Legends that
Yeah, you want to slide
I
a
want
little
to
longer
slide a
and
little
stuff.
longer.
Gotta.
Oh yeah, hey buddy, hey buddy. All right, I'm gonna let Carmina. Oops.
See, I don't really use so. You see right here, Carmina acts as a oh Jesus,
Dang.
as a
Damn.
companion character. There were guns for hires in Far Cry 5. It's sort of the modern take on the buddy system from Far Cry 2 without any of the interesting thematic shit.
Yeah.
But in this game, you start to get one thing I like about this game's companions is that I feel because of the setting and because of the nature of the post-apocalypse, the characters that you can find feel a lot more distinct. Like super more distinct than just some of the characters you would get in Far Cry 5. So for instance, just to give you an idea of some of the companion characters that are in this game, there is like an old lady sniper named Nana, who's super cool. There is a member of what is sort of left of the New Eden or the Eden's Gate folks in this game, who can accompany you, but they are kind of like against technology now. So he acts as like a stealth character. There's also like dumb folks that are back, like Herc is back in this game, and I just don't like. I hate Herc.
Not a fan of him either.
My review is going through edits, I believe, but I have one portion where I'm just like, man, Herc sucks. Herc represents everything in this franchise that I actually hate.
Yeah, the little notes he leaves around that you'll find are like, ugh, here we go. Which that sounds really crass, but I think my point is that we've been playing this sort of mode of Far Cry ever since Far Cry 3, which was 2012. Wow.
And so, like, it's tempting to say if you've played one Far Cry, you've played them all. And that's true on a certain mechanical level. And I guess I get frustrated in the sense that, you know, a lot of the stuff that I like and that other critics like about Far Cry 2 is kind of gone from the series.
Yeah.
But at least I will say with New Dawn, it leans so much into its aesthetics and its setting that it feels... The gameplay here feels, like, more sensible to be the fast-paced, newer Far Cry than, like, even in Far Cry 5. Because Far Cry 5 was really not a game about shooting. It was a game about, like, hiking.
Yeah,
and
totally.
like fishing. This game is very much more like, no, man, go take shit.
Yeah.
Somebody says that they played their first Far Cry game 2 days ago. I'm sorry. And I have harsh feelings for Far Cry 5. Good news is that this game complicates those feelings a little bit by doing some interesting stuff. Stuff which I can't really talk about.
Yeah, we can't talk about it, but you'll be able to talk about it tomorrow, so keep an eye out on the site.
My review hopefully will remain incredibly detailed to talk about a lot of stuff. Also, we'll talk about video game, like the new mechanics and stuff. Sometimes I think people are like, Heather, do you even talk about the game? And I'm like, yeah, there's like all these new features. Nailed them.
Yeah, those enemies are interesting because like if you try to shoot them straight on, like between the eyes.
If they have their little mask on, you can actually, all it will do is break the mask on them.
Right.
So it's actually like a positional headshot.
Right. So you have to, you really gotta hit them in the back of the head if you can.
Yeah.
So I like to really come in here and prioritize the alarms.
I was gonna say my gut instinct for all of these is always to destroy the alarms. You got a clear shot on that.
You did.
You got one alarm remaining. I think it's to your
here,
right.
Yeah. So I think I gotta swing around this way.
Yeah, you can slink to a side or whatever.
Uh-oh.
No, you'll be fine. I wouldn't. I mean, you could. Nice. It's hard for me to see where you're aiming entirely because I don't have my glasses. I left them at my desk.
This dude's gonna.
Someone's gonna see it, so I would. I don't know.
Why is the music getting hype right now?
Because they maybe heard a shot or something.
Everybody needs to calm down.
It's okay. Like, they don't immediately spot you, so like you're super golden.
Just take a quick nap for me, buddy. Just take quick naps for me.
Yeah, and then I would pivot and see if you can. It's a weird angle for that alarm, but like, yeah.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Man, what is going on with the color palette here? Good stuff. I admire a game that is actually kind of colorful. AAA games for a while, especially Far Cry games, were never really good about having fun with their palettes, and then like, for whatever reason, Ubisoft's been better at it lately.
Yeah, they go pretty wild with it on this. Uh-oh, this guy.
You're fine.
This guy.
I mean, they're already better at it. I mean, they were already doing better at it with
Ah. Does everyone know now? Does
yeah,
everyone know?
He made too
All
much
right,
noise
cool.
because he was yelling. Because they already do. They were doing a good job with color palette stuff in Assassin's Creed Origin. Did Cheeseburger the Bear survive the nuke? I can't talk about spoilers, boy.
Yeah, we can't talk about it just yet.
What happens at the end of this game? hold on, let me
Hold
just
on.
tell you.
We'll just tell you right now.
Cheeseburger comes back. That's the ending of Far Cry New Dawn. It's not. Please don't go on reset era.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Or whatever the fuck. And be like, Heather Alexandra said. They're behind.
Oh, he's got a rocket launcher.
He's screwed though.
Hey, buddy.
So what's happening here partially is you have already cleared this outpost once. And what happens is you can cede the outpost back to the bad guys in order to tackle the outpost again at a higher difficulty and get greater rewards. It's just a way of allowing you to replay these outposts in a way that's a little bit more sort of focused on actually rewarding you for going back and trying these things again and challenging yourself.
Yeah, so you'll get a little bit more ethanol and other good stuff.
Yeah, and I know for some people, like, you know, getting the attacking bases or whatever is far from their favorite thing in Far Cry, but I think this is an interesting self-challenge system that I appreciate, even though the good news is, like, if you just want to, like, be one and done with your outpost, like, you don't necessarily have to do it. You should be able to get enough ethanol and other things throughout the game without needing to really do it. Is there any way to turn off the red outlines around enemies through the walls? So if this game is anything like Far Cry 5, which it very much is, then the answer would be yes.
Yeah.
When I play games for review, I keep their default settings on. I don't change the difficulty. I don't change things like that until after I've done at least one playthrough. But when I played Far Cry 5, what I did for Far Cry 5 is I put I turned off all the UI elements, and then I put the difficulty all the way to the maximum. And I think, at least for Far Cry 5, that made the game, like, so much more enjoyable for me. And I'm curious to go back and play this game with those limitations, or start kind of, because now I've finished it and everything, to kind of go back and experiment with those limitations. But also, the pace of the game, the tone of this game is kind of faster anyway, so the Far Cry-y, like, bullshit weird systems don't feel as obtrusive this time to me.
By the way, someone asked what I'm playing on. I'm playing on a PS4 Pro.
PS4 Pro right now.
Yeah.
That's what I played for on my review as well. That is.
Yeah.
Those are the codes that we got.
Super sampling mode is enabled according to the notification I got when I booted this up.
It's true.
All right, so yeah, so I also wanted to show off. I might have to go back to Prosperity. Maybe I'll do that just to show off, like, what the upgrading stuff looks like.
Sure.
So I'll jump back over there. I also want to get a map for treasure, so we can do one of the treasure hunts, because those are actually a lot of fun.
Right, and I'm sure there's, like, at any of the outposts, even if we don't know where one is, we can talk to somebody and they'll tell you where. Yeah. Like, they'll be like, oh, I heard over here that there was a train that got derailed.
I heard this dude died. And his shit's in a cave.
People tried going in that cave, but no one's come back. That sounds like we're knocking on these treasure hunts. They're actually probably the best part of the game.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite parts of the game.
They were one of the best parts of Far Cry 5 as well. A game which you must understand, for me to compliment even a portion of that game means that I like that thing, because very much overall I do not like Far Cry 5.
So real quick, so this is Prosperity, like we showed earlier on in the stream, but
yes.
Each section has these little, like, beacons you can walk up to, interact with, and you'll see here, if I choose to upgrade it, I'll be using ethanol that I've collected along the way, and it'll let me get access to rank 2 vehicles as opposed to what I have now, which are rank 1. Here, this will upgrade my AI companions, so I'll get ranked 3.
They can have better skills and things like that.
Yeah, they'll be a little tougher.
You can also just use it to flatly upgrade your base to eventually have access to higher tiers. So you can just be like, I'm going to upgrade Prosperity generally. That requires having a little bit more stuff. That's over here.
Do that right over here.
So he needs more specialists. He needs to upgrade the facilities more, but once he does that, he can move up to another tier of it. Somebody asked, don't nukes, like, do stuff to the terrain? Looks pretty grassy. You're right.
You're right.
And the one thing I will tell you is that when you reach the edges of this map, and when you are able to go on expeditions outside of Hope County, the rest of the world is super fucked. In general, Hope County is the exception to the rule. You can read into that whatever thematics or significance that you want.
Yeah, maybe we'll go on an expedition just to show it off. It's pretty interesting.
The game's, I think, trying to do a very literal Garden of Eden thing here.
Sucks.
And that's why it's so idyllic. Also, it's just a chance for them to flex and not have the same, like, gray-colored assets over and over and over.
Here we go. So I'm going to buy this with some ethanol.
somebody's getting some recycled assets a la Metal Gear Survive vibes. This is a better game than Metal Gear Survive. It's recycling the same map, but also that happened with Far Cry Primal and Far Cry 4, so it's not something that we should be surprised by.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether or not you think it's lazy or whatever, like that's up for you gamers. But in my general experience, having played this game as one of the people on Earth who has, at least in the moment, the claim to fame of being one of the authoritative experts on Far Cry New Dawn, because I'm one of like the handful of people who have finished it. It's a fine game, even with some of the quote unquote corner cutting.
What can I upgrade? I'm always looking for shit to upgrade. Here we go. I can upgrade these. Let's do it. You can also skip these little like, you upgraded the thing.
Yeah, so he just upgraded expeditions there, which would allow him to go outside of Hope County to different areas.
Yeah, so if you go to
on
your,
like missions,
you go to your journal here, you'll see that like.
I mean, they don't need to see every bit.
Boom. Yeah, I'm just showing it off. That's how you access it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm going to let's do a treasure hunt. Let's see, where can we go? I thought there's one over here. So maybe we'll hike over there and find.
No, I said that because I thought you were about to go on one, and I we don't need to. We don't need to go on one of those.
No, those aren't. Yeah, they're interesting. I'll just keep it at that for now. We'll head over to one of these treasure hunts. I'm not entirely sure if I remember this one or if I actually.
I mean, I've done pretty much all of them, so I can help you out.
Cool. But yeah, they're fun. They usually involve like a little bit of platforming, some puzzle solving. Every once in a while, they'll require like, oh no, enemies. But very rarely.
Somebody asked, Heather, do they give an in-game reason for bright colors and landscapes only in Hope County? My gut, as somebody who's reading this game as a critic, is that there's some Bible stuff happening. Or at least there's biblical allusion stuff happening here that's partially being used to justify what's happening here. I'm not saying the game literally says God did it, but I'm saying I think they're leaning back into some of that a little bit.
Yeah, you can see right here, if I go into that area.
But like, look at that edge right there. Like, that's just like
nuclear wasteland.
The area around this place is super fucky.
Yeah, but Hope County is fine. Except look at these weird animals too, though.
They got like the wonderful
red
antlers
eyes
and stuff.
Things are delicious.
You will find like mutant bears and stuff, which are freaky.
I also don't think that this
here you
game
go.
particularly cares to justify its visual aesthetics to people, nor do I think it should have to. That sounds like I'm really going to bat for Far Cry New Dawn. That's just me going to bat for video games that make artistic choices. Because by the end of this game, this is a game that has impressed me in a lot of ways, but has also frustrated me in a lot of ways when I've played it.
Oh man.
But I don't think games or art need to be built around the CinemaSins crowd.
Are you cool?
Is the drug back? Bliss. Very briefly.
The attack on prosperity was a close one.
Is it, or do we have like weird drugged psychos again? No, thank the Lord.
I've been over here. Knew it. Get out of my way, Carmina.
Why do you even travel with her, bro?
I don't know. I should probably like turn around. Sometimes
That sounds like I'm dunking on Carmina, but it's more like I only take like really stealthy companions, so I worry about her.
I usually, actually, I like. I don't know if I have him in this save. Do I have Horatio?
How long is this game?
Yeah, I do have.
So
Horatio.
I haven't added up all my hours. It took me, I want to say, 10 to 14 hours. It's shorter than Far Cry 5.
Okay.
But also remember, when I say that I've completed a game at a certain pace, I'm playing at the pace of a video game reviewer who does this professionally. I imagine that most people will finish this game in anywhere from 18 to 20 hours. Would be my guess.
Can I shoot through the gate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
You shot her in the face before. It's the second time you shot her.
Can you stand still so I can shoot? Oh, you're gonna shoot the hostage?
Is stealth a more reliable tactic? Yeah, I think it's totally viable.
Get him, Horatio. Horatio, no.
Oh wait, you unlocked him too?
Yeah, Horatio's cool.
Oh, he's a very big pig.
Hey, you look like you. I thought
I
was
got
gonna
you,
die
girl.
for sure. Thanks.
Yeah, sometimes I noticed that when you're trying to do the stealth approach, can they actually see like your companion if it's like Carmina, for example?
I believe so.
Yeah, because I've definitely gotten screwed
I
over
think
with that.
I think there are some characters who have built-in defenses against that. I don't think they particularly spot Nana. I don't think they spot the judge, who's another character who you haven't met yet.
No.
There are some characters that are specifically stealth-based that are able to sneak into bases much more easily. Carmina definitely is not one of them.
Dang it.
It's funny because you used a blowtorch on that, but the skill that I use is just
Yeah, I have that
to
too.
open a goddamn lock. They're super armored. You can just leave them because you're.
Yeah, actually, I'm under
like,
leveled
they're
here.
just, yeah.
Never mind, guys. I'm sorry. I had the wrong guys.
Well, it's like it's weird to say under leveled because it's more just like
My
it's like
weapons.
weapon tiers.
Yeah.
It's not like you being level 7.
I'm like a sucker for reading all those dumb notes. Get up out of here.
Do the enemies kidnap you all the time like in Far Cry 5? No,
No, thank
absolutely not. Once again, thank the Lord. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. This game's plot is much more focused on things that happen than just people who monologue at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who the fucking, like, who would have thought that doing that would automatically make for a better story and gameplay experience than whatever the hell was in Far Cry 5?
I always hated hearing that like song come on and you're like, all right, and just do it already. Let's go. Yeah. It was creepy the first time, but it was like, all right, the 5th time.
Like, Jacob, I am through with you.
Just do it already. Let's talk. Talk to me. What do you want, buddy?
How vehicle heavy is the game? Are helicopters and planes back? Yeah, they are. I don't really use them a lot. So
Yeah.
my approach to Far Cry, so the thing that I suggest for people who like, even if you're burnt out on the Far Cry formula, is don't use vehicles
Cars.
unless you need to.
Yeah.
Turn off all your HUD. Turn the difficulty all the way up. That way, the games are actually fantastic. But you know.
Yeah, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I'm like, I want to have a good time and have some fun and not have it be too challenging. But that's just me. That's personal preference. Are these guys level 3? Where are they? No, I'm good.
Somebody says, I love Far Cry 5, but the characters were boring. Well, good news is that I think the story and the way that the things that they do with characters in this is a little bit better. There's not as many like returning characters, only a certain specific subset of returning characters. A lot of them are like side characters who pop back up again. So like one of your companion characters is Pastor Jerome and stuff.
Yeah, we just stumbled across where he lives. Pop his helmet off. Get him, Horatio. No, I got it.
Does it add other stuff? Adds excursions outside of Hope County. Adds somewhat more complexity to the crafting system by adding tiers. It's not overly complex, but it does add a much more clearer crafting progression than I think the other games had, because those games were just kind of like, hey, buy some guns. The way it handles crafting is a little more focused.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah, someone mentioned the Skrillex segment in Far Cry 3. There are definitely some similar licensed music
and yet,
segments.
Now he's around. Now Skrillex is just like chilling with my my girl Utada Hikaru.
Utada Hikaru, yeah, and just making jams. Come on. Nope.
You're killing everybody you come across.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
I'm on the stream. I'm gonna be a little performative here.
Is gunplay as imprecise? Caitlin's asking. I think the gunplay's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm just not great. Check this out. These are so violent.
Paul was just missing some shots there.
Yeah, some of the what
some
are
of
they
the
called?
takedowns are great.
Takedowns. They're so like gruesome.
You shove your knives in some places.
Yeah. Like in places I'm like, was that necessary, man?
Is it RPG percentage to hit? No, it's not. This isn't Fallout, even if it is Fallout adjacent in certain ways.
The numbers aren't that complex. It's just like you got a headshot.
You gotta do that stash. I wonder which one it is.
Okay, so it's here, right?
No, it's
Oh,
like
so it's
500
still further
meters away.
Oh, where?
What if we completely skipped Far Cry 5? Will it be harder to enjoy this game? I think certain context will be lost.
Yeah.
Which isn't me saying, please go out and play Far Cry 5 right now. I don't think you have to, but there are certain characters in this game who are critical to Far Cry 5, who come back here And without understanding what happened to them in Far Cry 5, the kind of stuff that happens here in New Dawn, where it experiments with tropes and starts to kind of comment on itself in a way that's like definitely more satisfactory than anything that happened in 5, might not be something that you make all the connections with because you just don't have the context necessary.
Oh God, I'm super caught up in that. Oh God, no! Stop it!
In theory, the pig could revive you.
Oh really?
I don't know. I don't play with the giant pig because I'm a loner.
Oh, cool. I kind of like when they seek you out like that.
Yeah, very Far Cry.
Come on, buddy. There we go.
Somebody says, given Far Cry 2's quiet resurgence in recent years, I wonder if Ubisoft will remaster it. I doubt it. I doubt it. But also, I think the quiet resurgence is just a matter of like me and Austin having positions on big platforms.
I like how they like politely pull over. It's so nice of them. You have a giant truck.
Like, I love that game. Austin loves that game. With good reason. So we sing its praises whenever we can.
Leave me alone, bro.
This is if you want to get some extra ethanol.
Or you could just blow it up.
I mean, that's a valid option, and I respect that.
I just wanted to do that.
I know. I'm just saying.
This isn't my main save.
I know. I'm like, now everybody in Prosperity is gonna be terrible.
Yeah, they'll be alright.
Are random encounters with enemies less frequent in this? I mean, I've never found them to be particularly excessive. I've found it easy to sneak around people when I want to, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'm just fighting everybody for the heck of it.
Yeah. If you don't want to be inconvenienced in the field, there are options for that. I think it's pretty easy to sneak around people on the default setting. I don't think it spawns too much stuff. There's actually a companion character that you can get later on who, if you gain enough affinity with them, they actually have a skill that turns all wildlife neutral to you unless you attack first.
That's kind of cool.
Which is really useful.
That's super useful. Because there's some scary animals out here. So, and also you'll come across like locations like this that have supplies that you can definitely use to craft things back at Prosperity. They're
not romantic options. It's just like if you use a character enough, you can get more skills for them.
Oh yeah. So in this case, that's a scary road down there. In this case, the game told me. Let me open up the map just to highlight it. The game told me like, oh hey, you stumbled across this location. Here are...
It'll start to tell you how many things are in a different area.
3 coils or whatever.
Those are used specifically for making vehicles.
Yeah. Yeah, and like copper is used for like, ammo and guns and stuff and various different things. So it does pay to, like we were saying before, try to avoid using vehicles as much as you can unless you really need to.
Yeah, because it's just worth doing all the scavenging stuff anyway. Scavenging by itself is such a cornerstone of what we associate, I think, in our brains anyway with post-apocalyptic genres.
Yeah.
That you might as well.
Yeah, so we'll do a treasure hunt and then slowly start to wind down this stream because we have 2 streams today. Not only this stream.
Somebody says, does it feel dangerous to roam in unknown territory here? It can, especially if you're heading into territory where like enemies just like have the higher tiers of armor or whatever.
But
there's also just like sometimes there's like freak mutant bears who will fuck your shit up. What's going on here? Is there a Nintendo Direct stream? No, but we are covering it on Kotaku.com.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying before I forgot. There's 2 streams today. This stream, and then Tim's going to be streaming some Crackdown 3 in a little bit. So stay tuned. Follow us on here and on social and all that good stuff.
Gotta get that.
Oh, I pet Horatio.
That's
Come
fine.
on,
Horatio's
man.
a good pig.
Come on. Get out of the way, Horatio.
Just dismiss him. You don't need a giant pig right now.
No, I like him. I like her.
That's fair enough. This is a pretty good pig.
My friend. Okay, so I got that already.
Yeah.
Let me loot this guy.
I think the thing we gotta do is just grab that treasure hunt.
Yeah. Here we go.
Because you're gonna get into like one of those weird rolling Far Cry fights that just last forever
I
because you
know.
make noise and then more fucking dudes come. And just on and on.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta be like, hey, I'll see you guys later at the
Yeah.
death pits.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
It's so actually so
Gotta swim it.
Dice Game says open world needs more friends, and I will say this:
Oh, God.
something about the way that this game handles its companions feels a lot more like Fallout than it does. Even though it's really just the guns for hire system from 5, but I think the variety of characters and how much they seem to be a little bit more distinct makes it feel more like you're traveling with like RPG friends than anything else. There's a fish. It's just a big fish.
All right,
It's
treasure
all
hunt
good.
time.
Which one is this? Is this the one with the
Hey, buddy. Oh, I've done this one before.
I think this is just the
Not
one
upset.
where you gotta get through the cars that are blocking.
Oh yeah. So this is a pretty
Stuff.
good example of like what to expect in this silly ass game.
I mean, like, this is one of the more basic ones,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of these, so,
So you'll
treasure
get-
hunts all
Oh,
around.
let me grab this real quick.
Yeah, grab that
So yeah,
quota, why
the
not?
first thing you'll get is like, oh, here's a note, and here's where the stash is, basically. So we know that it's probably around here, probably in this cool looking shed. And look how convenient. There's also something in here. I remember, yeah.
One of the ways to get in here, I think, is to use a grappling hook and zip line on
Oh,
the
yeah.
other side.
Oh yeah, you can just go that way, or just climb it. Be clumsy about it. Actually, I think you do have to. Yeah.
Do you got it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Grapple it up. Climb up here. And then you gotta like.
So this is kick that shit. So this is one of the more basic puzzles that you'll find. Some of them are actually like memory things, or actually being able to locate where a key is. Some of them are combat-based challenges, like, oh fuck, a bear has a key and you have to kill the fucking bear.
Yeah.
In this case, it's finding a way to make sure that you can move all the stuff out of the way, blocking you from the stash.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, specifically the door that's in
These-
front of us.
yeah,
and
so
so this becomes
this
like an
guy.
environmental navigation puzzle.
Yeah, and then you'll get little clues here that will tip you off on, you know, what to do.
Why
where
is
to
the
go.
game only $39.99? Well, partially because it's sort of like Far Cry Primal was to Far Cry 4, being based upon some of the same base assets with some changes. It's being treated more like a spin-off than a full series title, so I think that would be the reason for that. Yeah, so you already know your way through this one.
Oh, yeah.
More than anything. Far Cry Primal was full price, really? That's funny. I think maybe they've learned not to do that for this game. But this game is to Far Cry 5 what,
Oh, what's up,
what
Doc?
Primal was to 4, except this one actually has like more narrative through line and connection.
Let me just go say hi to my buddies real quick.
Hey.
Horatio, I need you to calm down, buddy.
I don't remember the press or like the cycle of reaction behind Far Cry Primal, besides some people who lost their minds that it was on the same map as 4. So, you know.
You just killed Travis.
Yeah, they do kind of have like a dirt bike like nonsense people feel. Titanium is really hard to find. They're mostly in stashes.
Also, the most important perks, dog.
Perk magazines to level up stuff.
Here, a little
Did you pick up are there Far Cry coins?
There's gotta be.
There's got to be in here. In every stash there are Far Cry coins.
Maybe I picked them up in here.
Maybe, who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, actually, oh, here's some
Duct tape. One of the most important things in the post-apocalypse.
Duct tape.
Woohoo!
Nice. I like that we were on the same page there.
I know what you're going for.
Let me see what I can unlock perk wise. But then I guess we can slowly wind it down with maybe what else can we do here?
Man, I don't know. Find me an outpost. I'll take that shit down.
You want to do an outpost? All right, I'll pass the controller.
Well, we don't have to go to any of the ones that you see. Like, we can go to a
Let's
new
find a
one.
new one. Let's do it. Let me get you some perks though.
I'm not a big fan of perk trees in Far Cry. I don't think they've ever been that great of an addition to the series ever since Far Cry 3. That being said,
Oh my god.
one of the things that Far Cry 5 actually did well was integrating perk like progression into the game insofar as it wasn't just a matter of killing enemies to get experience. It was actually doing activities and challenges to give you perk points directly. That happens here too, where you just kind of have things more tied to just like, hey, you did a thing, you're gonna get rewards, and it's like much better that way.
Yeah. Okay, here. I'm handing off the controller.
Did you lose your silence weapon? No, you didn't.
No, I picked up an extra. So I unlocked an extra weapon slot for you. Where you want to go?
So this will be really easy, probably. Get my butt over there. Let's get rid of this fucking pig. I'm sorry, pig.
I think I'm about halfway through the game right now, and I'm definitely going to finish it just to kind of follow through with the story. Because I feel like at this point I might as well, you know? I played all of 5.
Yeah, I don't have my glasses, so this could be a disaster, but whatever.
Right. This is like a challenge. This is a challenge stream.
There is a saw blade gun.
That is pretty
It's
cool,
one of the first
actually.
things you craft in the game. They're like, hey, you should make something. You make a fucking saw blade gun.
It's cool because it ricochets and you can like...
Yeah, it bounces around. So like if a dude's hiding around a corner, you can just...
Yeah. It just knows where to go. We need backup like CVS glasses for the booth. I agree, Chris.
No, I just left them at my desk because I'm a dip. Today's a weird day. I'm just waiting on edits, and I want to get people the information. So, I don't know, we're technically not allowed to be like too impressions heavy. But I think it's a decent game. I think it starts to do some interesting stuff with its narrative that maybe it doesn't fully commit to, but I admire its conviction and its attempt. I think it's a visually interesting game in a way that it could have easily been a visually boring game. So there are things about this that I like. Oh, they saw me.
You gotta pop their goggles off. Got a goggle pop.
They got a shotgun.
Oh boy. He's feeding you some shotgun shells.
Yeah. Oh well. I like the pill taking animation here because it reminds me of taking malaria pills in Far Cry 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious if you can actually mess around with the field of view on PC, because I don't think...
I don't know. I mean, like,
I haven't messed with
the
it.
downside of having a console call, this guy will be like, hey, there's a mission.
Hi, I saw highwaymen trucks going in and out of the old grain elevator.
This guy always has, like, information. It's always this one NPC
Oh yeah, with the binoculars.
with the binoculars and stuff. He's always like, I hear that somebody over here had this thing happen. And you're like, okay.
Is that the same guy?
But that's
who
also,
did,
like, you just
Clementine?
find... It, you think it's Dave Fennoy?
It sounds like him.
It sounds a little bit like him, but I don't know if it's him.
I only know because he was like, remember back in the day, Hulu had like the guy, the announcer voice.
Yeah, he's the Hulu guy.
He was the Hulu voice guy, so it just makes me remember the early days of. Hulu.
One thing I want to tell people too that I've been using a lot because I'm a video game reviewer is pretty decent photo mode.
Photo mode.
Which I'm not going to play around too much with though. But if you're like, hey, these landscapes are really cool, and you want to mark all that stuff down, then good news. It's actually a pretty nice photo mode.
Yeah, it's also pretty customizable. Which is
I think
really cool.
I think maybe I'm getting soft in my old age, Paul, but I do think this is actually an interesting looking game.
Oh no, I agree. I think there are moments where I'm like, ooh, that's pretty.
I'm too old to be cynical, if that makes sense.
Ooh,
Does
you're
that
gonna
make sense?
Apex
I
Legends
wanted
slide
to Apex
down.
down it. Instead, I'm just gonna butt slide down it.
I did get stuck on a rock doing that once, like literally inside of the rock. I had to like load my last save.
Oh, see, I never ran into any major glitches.
Yeah.
I ran into a boss fight that I hated. To which I tweeted vaguely on social media. I said, and this is a joke. I said, I hope the person who makes this boss encounter gets locked in a room with bees. It was it was just bad. It was just like not enjoyable.
Oh, I can't wait to play that.
Well, I mean, you're playing at a much more reasonable pace than me, so you'll probably have everything you need for it. I'm playing at video game reviewer pace, which means I don't have all my shit.
Light them up.
Is there really a guy right here?
Uh-oh.
Fuck him. No way.
Watch out for Travis.
Can I bring out the
Pastrana.
dog, somebody asks? Yeah. Oh, I keep on hitting start menu right now. The dog, I believe, mostly just automatically tags people and finds crafting materials and stuff.
It's actually super useful.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Sometimes I will miss I'll miss someone and he'll just be like, "Arf!"
You know, I took that shot before disabling any of the
Alarms.
Alarms.
Risky. Ooh, risky. Trap music. Activate the trap music.
Yeah.
Also another interesting choice for this game, but I'm like, what was that?
What was that noise?
Huh?
Whose footprints are these? Well, they're not paying attention to us.
Boom. All alarms. All one of them. Oh, you moving around? Ah.
Yeah, I'm not at a good angle to get the headshot that I want there.
He's got his goggles. You got a goggle pop. You
Yeah,
never want a
or
goggle
what
pop.
I'm gonna try and do is stab this person.
Whatever that was, it's disappeared.
Yeah, it's no longer here for sure. Oh, here we go. Ooh,
That's a good one.
God. Some of these are just brutal. Far Cry's always had a good like little sound when the bullets hit.
Yeah, it's a nice way of letting you know that you've done it. So we're in a decent spot here. This is kind of sloppy.
Yeah, they got Metro Boomin on the track. Although, oh, hit that flamethrower, dude. Oh,
I fell down.
oh.
They're gonna see me.
Yeah, this is just missing a Travis Scott verse. and this
Yeah,
would've
so I
been
didn't go
perfect.
as sneakily through there as I wanted, which is fine.
Oh, you did it! Did
I
this
think-
other? Oh,
I think my dog had a good time of it.
dog had a good time. Had some puppy chow. I was going for the Sarah Connor vibe. At least in the beginning.
Yeah,
Later on, I gave her this weird hype beast, very tech.
yeah.
goth
There's
vibe.
good stuff there. I don't know. I just wanted to do my own post because it was fun. I wish I could have done that a little sneakier. So I'll have a review of this on site tomorrow. I'm trying to cover a lot of different things in it in terms of like what it adds, what does it mean to just be this sequel to a game that I think is not great, and all sorts of other stuff. My takeaway here is that I think it's okay. But I go into it with some reservations, and I don't necessarily tell people like, hey, you got it. I won't tell you like you gotta play this game, but I do think it's doing some things, and I appreciate that in ways that have made me really kind of happy and unexpectedly surprised in a good way.
Yeah. Well, that was a stream of Far Cry New Dawn. Like I said earlier, too, stay tuned. We're going to have a stream for Crackdown 3 with Tim a little later on today.
Yeah, there's an Ubisoft employee right in the corner.
Yeah.
They're gonna get me.
They got their bow and arrow pointed right at us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was it for this stream. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you around.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.